Thanks.
Yes, sir.
I asked you the last time that you did the stakeout. I asked you about cluster bombs, and you said unequivocally that they're not used.
Yes.
And then it's been sent to me, and people have said to me that the spokesman of the coalition did acknowledge some use at an early in the conflict. So I wanted to ask you about that. Is there some?
The spokesman of the coalition did acknowledge some use on one occasion at an early point in the conflict, and it was used at that time against a military target. And I must remind you also that we are not party to the treaty banning the use of cluster bombs. We are in the same category as the United States and as many other countries who are not party to that treaty. So we are not legally obliged to abide by that treaty. However, we have made a commitment not to use cluster bombs, and other than the one single case that was acknowledged by the military spokesman early in the process, there has been no use of cluster bombs.
And is it true that is it your understanding that the the Obama administration is now suspending some transfers of this weapon?
I do not know, not to my knowledge, not to my knowledge. Yes, sir.
Sure, thanks a lot. I wanted to know, it's reported that you met with the Deputy Secretary General, Jan Eliasson, on the morning before the change was made. We've been told to ask you what was your side of the conversation. Did the issue, for example, of UNRWA, of funding to UNRWA come up?
No.
Can you characterize what was said at the meeting? They've told us that the UAE and Jordan, and someone else has reported Bangladesh also démarched Ban Ki-moon. Did you organize that?
No, we did not, and I would not be surprised if these countries and many other countries would have démarched the Secretary General, because this action was unacceptable to many, many Arab countries and Islamic countries, and you have seen that there were statements now issued by the OIC, by the Arab League, by the GCC. So I would not have been surprised if tens of countries would have expressed their disappointment to the Secretary General over this action.
Is Saudi Arabia committed to continue to fund UNRWA for the next 5 years, 10 years?
We are committed to continue to work closely with the United Nations. This commitment has been for the last 70 years, and it's not something that you shake off or tamper with like this. Yeah.
The perception is that, and this is why I think you should, well, I'm asking you to address the financial aspect of it, because it ends up appearing many countries are on various human rights lists, annexes, and it appears that if a country either threatens to withdraw its money or has money that it could pay, that it comes off the list, which sort of devalues the other countries that are on it, devalues the whole process. So what can you say about the perceived nexus between a country's financial strength and willingness to threaten the UN with withdrawal of it and being taken off list to those who remain on the list?
I think what I would say is that the report as it is, the content of the report, the body of the report stands. Every word stands, and we stand by the figures and the information contained in the report. It paints a horrific picture of the suffering of Yemeni civilians, and especially Yemeni children. And I think that report is out, and it's public, and it's for everyone to see, and we're not walking back from the report and the content of the report and the narrative that's in the report.
Sure, and thanks. But I guess I just on the policy issue, I mean, the narrative portion is still there, but UN lists, it does compile lists. There are blacklists on various topics, and if it's the case that parties that have money or are willing to threaten to withdraw money can be taken off the list, the whole list is not credible.
I think that's your interpretation, and I'm not going to go into post-game analysis on it. Thank you.
NCR question?
No.
Thank you. OIOS question?